We got him. Those were the words that New Yorkers were waiting to hear. And those were the words from a grateful New York Mayor, Eric Adams, as the city breathed a sigh of relief following the arrest of Frank James, the suspect in Tuesday's Brooklyn subway shooting. James was arrested some 30 hours after he allegedly set off a smoke canister and fired at least 33 rounds into a crowded subway car, shot at least 10 passengers, left many more injured in the ensuing chaos. Always good to have our Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas to give us the very latest here. First things first, they got him in custody. Now, a couple of questions here. Why? What was his motive? And also, did he act alone? Where are they on those two questions?
Well, they want to be certain they have every bit of evidence, conclusive evidence, that Frank James is the man who did this. And they want to be absolutely certain that no one else is involved. So it's a very active investigation, TJ. So far, no evidence of accomplices, but they want to be absolutely sure.
And Pierre, big breakthrough that he left so much behind for them to be able to track him down. But there was talk, we know about the cameras not working. I mean, how much trouble would the investigation have been in had he not left all this stuff behind, meaning the keys and the gun?
Well, I think it would have been much more difficult to find him if he hadn't done that. But in many ways, this is a story of what was left behind at the crime scene. You'll recall police recovered a 9mm handgun at the scene, likely the gun used to shoot all those innocent commuters. One scary detail, photos reveal James may have tried to scratch the serial number off the weapon, apparently knowing it would be traced back to him. But ATF was able to trace that very serial number to the gun. Purchase made in Ohio in 2011. Authorities say James made that purchase. That was a huge breakthrough in the case.
And Pierre, what do we do here? You've covered, I mean, extensively and for years now, these mass shootings of a lone gunman, and oftentimes there are videos, there's some kind of evidence, there's some kind of trail that was left behind. And this man had videos, at least online, that we've seen. What can be done? What could have been done in seeing the type of, I guess, vitriol he was spitting out on these videos? How do you then turn that into action and know that this is someone that needs to be stopped or some intervention needs to take place before we get to what we saw at the subway?
Well, I have to tell you, the most difficult thing about the case that we're seeing is there was an opportunity perhaps to have stopped him. And we see this time and time again. My sources are saying that those social media videos have been a gold mine, a window into Frank James's psyche. It's a frightening tale. He was giving every indication he was planning something horrific. In one video posted the day before the subway shooting, he allegedly said, "I can say I wanted to kill people. I wanted to watch people die." And in another video, it's clear his attention had turned to New York City, allegedly saying, "Mr. Mayor, I'm a victim of your mental health program. I'm 63 now, full of hate, full of anger, and full of bitterness." Law enforcement officials say, and sources are telling me, it's a heartbreaking situation where information was out there, but apparently no one saw it or no one acted on it.
What are they also telling you, your sources and the folks you talk to in the Justice Department and just around the country, law enforcement officials, that he actually, or they believe, he did this shooting, but then continued to ride the train? There were folks in New York who were on the train with this man, and this could have been much worse, and they had no idea.
Exactly. He apparently got on the adjacent train with all the other people who were fleeing the scene. So they were on the train with the person who had tried to kill many of them. So that is stunning. It's just scary to think about.
Also, what's the significance of having this be a terror-related charge against him?
Well, I think what the federal government is doing there, TJ, is saying there's a statute on the books that allows them to charge someone who attempts to kill commuters on mass transit. That federal charge carries up to life in prison, so they wanted to use that. And
last thing here, Pierre, and I always like to get your insights on this because you covered this extensively and you looked at the numbers. But here in this country, we talk about the proliferation of guns. We talk about ghost guns here lately, especially this week. But what is it that you have seen in your reporting in the numbers over the years? It's not just the number of guns. There's something about this country and a culture of guns that leads us to the place of you and I once again having a conversation about a mass shooting on the air.
Well, we have a witch's brew moment. You have a moment where the pandemic, according to many of the police officials that I've been talking to, has a lot of people on edge, frustrated. And imagine those people who have maybe undiagnosed mental illness, some people who are frustrated with their work circumstance. It's all converging at this moment, tied to the fact that there are 300 million plus guns already in circulation. What that means is that anyone who's upset, anyone who's frustrated, anyone who may have mental health issues, and people who are just plain evil all have access to guns. That's what we're seeing.
We always appreciate your context and your reporting, Pierre. It is so good to have you here on the show, our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.